So today I'd like to talk about building armatures. If you want to make a good, durable dinosaur sculpture, you have to build a sturdy armature. So today I'm going to take you into my art studio. I'm going to show you some close-ups of some dinosaur armatures just like these, and I'm going to build a little bit onto an armature just so you can kind of get an idea of exactly how to do it. So let's get started. Alright, let's get into this video about making armatures. I'm going to quickly show you guys how to build an armature here that you can see. This one here, hopefully. I don't have the best camera, so I can't control it very well here, but this is an armature for a Dinosaurus that I'm about to build. So anyway, I'll kind of explain to you how to do it and show you something quickly, just so you kind of get the idea. You'll probably notice this skeletal drawing here. These things are an awesome resource for anybody trying to make dinosaurs. You could use pictures of real fossils, pictures of museum mounts and stuff. Problem is that the picture would have to be taken, you know, a perfect side view or front view and stuff, and you don't really, I mean, unless you go do it yourself, it's going to be hard to get that. I mean, I recommend going to a museum and taking lots of pictures of actual fossils, you know, for the sculpting process, to make sure that you're getting everything right. But these are awesome. And this one I got from a book called The Princeton Field Guide to Dinosaurs. This book right here. Definitely buy this one. Got lots of skeletal drawings in it. As you can see, muscles, you know, lots of anatomy in it. So anyway, so what I did for this guy is, you can obviously see the main body part. I kind of made this red line here to figure out where I wanted to cut my wood, because you don't want it all the way to the end. I might have actually made my wood a little bit too big. I did shave it down a bit afterwards. But that's your first thing that you're going to need. Cut out your midsection. There's two different ways you can do it. For this guy, because he's big, I wanted to have a full one. Other people do usually around the hip and then shoulder, which I did do for another one. So, but this way is better for things that are big and heavy, like sauropods, stuff like that. And then of course, you're going to start marking and drilling holes for the neck, the tail, the legs, and the arms. And then to hold them, I use, this is called green stuff. Most times I use epoxy sculpt. Both work great. You know, you want to put lots on there. Make sure that it's not moving around at all. Well, I'll show you right now. If you take this out, see, that's what happens before you put putty on it to hold it in place and glue it down. One other quick thing I'll talk about is this right here. Now I decided to use this round styrofoam just because the animal from a top view is very wide. So I figured it'd work. Now some people are saying I should take it off because when I bake the Sculpey in the oven, I use Super Sculpey, when I bake it in the oven, this will melt and then will leave my sculpture hollow in some places, which would make it brittle. So I'm going to do some tests with Sculpey, covering it in, or sorry, with this foam, styrofoam, and I'm going to cover it with some tin foil and then cover it with some epoxy sculpt and then cover it with Sculpey, bake it, and just to see what it does, I'll cut it in half, and just to see, I'll probably film that actually so we can see what actually happens when you use styrofoam inside. So basically what I'm going to quickly do here though is I'm going to show you how to actually make one of these pieces. and make it correctly. So we're going to need a marker here. Sorry, there we go. And then we're going to use this guy as a reference so you can see that we need a little bit on the end. So we're going to bend. Of course, I didn't put my pliers in front of me before filming this video, so that wasn't smart of me at all, but I will try it with these little tiny guys here. So in this case, I'm just going to take a little bend here. Hopefully I'm doing it in the camera so you can see, like that. You could do a little more. There you go, you can see. Now I'm going to bend it again the proper way in the end. So you want to go like this, line it up. You want to make sure it's completely lined up. You want to make a red mark right there, you know, around where you're gonna bend it, you know, at the joint. Then you're gonna take your pliers here. You're gonna bend it again. We're gonna check. We'll actually bend it up a tad more here. There we go. So now we got it again. And then we got that for our next bend. And there we are. So now it's the back a little far. Make it like that. So now you can see it's bent the proper way. We'll cut the piece like that. And there we are. And then because it's going to be this arm, and then we're going to just turn the piece like that. And there we go. Fits in like that. Now with this I used some smaller wire. This wire which I picked up from TSC. It's smaller and it's pretty strong, but it bends easy too. So I thought that would be good for making fingers. So I used some green stuff, and I actually cut this part off, which you can do, and did it for all 3 fingers. So now, well, this is hard, I can bend these fingers in if I need to. You know, and say I don't like the way the fingers are, I can it's kind of like a posable figure, like a stop motion puppet. So that's kind of cool. So anyway, you would already have your holes drilled, and you would insert this, and then you would put putty on the end, make sure you got it where you want it. And that's pretty much the basics of building your armature. Now I'll quickly also talk about bulking it out, because you want to bulk it out with cheap material, because I don't know about in the United States, but in Canada, if you go to Michael's, Super Sculpting is about $25 a pound, which is insane. There's a couple of places like Sculpture Supply Canada in Toronto where you can get it a lot cheaper, but still you have to drive. So you want to use, you can't really see the tin foil underneath, but I've crunched up a lot of tin foil. You got to make sure it's really, really tight, and then you want to bulk it out by wrapping masking tape over top. You want to get your basic shape. Now this one obviously isn't done. I still got to wrap around all 4 legs. This is going to be a Dinosaurus when it's done, but basically that's what you want to do. Now you see I've already made some mistakes here. I got loose tape. You don't want that. If you got loose stuff, cut it off and wrap the tin foil and the tape as tight as you possibly can. You can run over with your sculpting tool, flatten it down, make sure that it's as tight as possible. But that's one thing I learned when I went to Shane's class in at Jersey Fest there about 1.5 years ago, is that if you don't pack it tight, your clay's not going to stick to it. So that's very, very important. This guy doesn't want to stand either. So anyway, that's pretty much basically how I build an armature. I hope it helps, and I should be making a new video soon. Thank you.